Arrowhead announced that starting, I forgot the actual dates, but I think it's the end of this month. Is a date for new players, and then it's another date for I think uh, current players. They will require you to link your PSN account in on PC on Steam in order to continue playing Helldivers 2. The requirement was there at launch, but because if you remember, they had a whole bunch of technical issues there at launch. They waived and removed the requirement at that time with the intention to bring it back later, I guess, but they never really warned people about this. In just in 2 days, Helldivers 2 is a beloved game from PC gamers. It was the rating, the reviews on Steam was very positive, overwhelmingly positive. In 2 days, they got 100K negative reviews on Steam, and now it's
Ooh.
like now it's overwhelmingly negatively reviewed. Helldivers 2 got delisted on Steam in regions that don't support PSN because that was a question people were asking. Well, PSN isn't in a bunch of countries and a bunch of territories. So what are they going to do? So it's actually been delisted from Steam now, so you can't buy it if you live in those countries and territories. It's 117 countries apparently. That's what people are reporting. The community managers seem in the Discord, the Helldivers 2 Discord seem really kind of pissed off at Sony and at the players because like they're caught in the middle. So they're like, bro, I don't know what the fuck you want us to do. This isn't their choice. They're saying this is Sony's choice. It's Sony's game. They're the publisher. So yeah, there's some decisions that they can't do anything about. The CEO says he's trying, he's trying to like, mitigate the situation, do the best he can. But yeah, PC players are pissed off. I'm gonna let y'all go first. I have, plenty to say. I'm gonna let y'all go first.
I'll go first. This is kind of a wild situation. To me, I think it's a clear overreaction, but at the same time, if they knew this from the beginning, why didn't they say this? Because you have comments from community managers, devs, or people affiliated with the game that say, oh, we knew about this 6 months ago. But again, this is a situation where they were riding that high wave that they probably didn't want to announce that because they didn't want to disrupt anything. And they were probably thinking, oh, we'll deal with it, when we get to that bridge, when we cross it. Now they're at the bridge and, they're having to deal with it. My issue is this. If you want to be able to link your PSN account, you should be allowed to. But to make it mandatory and force people, and hell, I don't even know how this works at 177 countries. I can't even name 177 countries. So, Alexa, how many countries are in the world? Let's hear it.
300.
So there's 195 countries in the world today, and they're saying that this game is banned in 177. Is that real?
Yo,
That's
I guess so.
That's great.
That's crazy.
Let's fact check. Let me see.
I just asked Alexa. She said there's
Okay.
195 countries in the world. So let's do that math right now. 177 divided by 195. That means this game is now banned in 90%. That means people in 90% of the countries in the world now can't play this game. If Alexa is right, there's 100 and whatever countries in the world.
Mhm.
That's crazy. And look, if this is a mandatory Sony policy, okay, cool. But sometimes you got to read the room. Like, what are the pros and the cons of putting this and making this mandatory? It's like, let's look at it this way. Even beyond the outrage, right? Let's just remove the outrage. What benefit do you get from? Let's look at it. What benefit do you get from banning 90% of your countries from playing your damn game? What benefit is that? Who is making these decisions? Likewise, now we have the community managers, the moderators, and the social media advocates of the community that work for this company are a bunch of multicolored haired irregulars. That isn't making the situation any better. But that's a whole topic for another day because, Sony, you finally get a good multiplayer game, and now they're doing everything they can to sabotage it. That's all I got to say.
This is kind of funny, right? Even though
we had an argument about to satisfy one platform, you will risk to get the most out of one platform. You pretty much not get nothing out of everybody else. In this case, you have the world, and because of this whole PSN thing, you lose 90% of it. That's crazy.
Yeah,
But
I didn't even know that, Smooth. Did you? That there's only 195 countries and 177 are banned? That's nuts.
now I was thinking of those numbers. I thought there was at least 500.
I mean, I'm agreeing with Smooth on this one.
At least, because you got all those upskirt countries like what, Croatia or some shit like that. Like I think there's about a good 90 of those. But damn, yeah, that's Now I will say this, right? I have no issue with the requirement of being logged into an account, whoever owns the platform, because everybody does it. Microsoft, 2K, Ubisoft, whatever. It's just the way the world works in gaming now. The issue that they have is that you launch the game's been out 3 months, thriving, right? And now you're going to enable this to be like, now it's a requirement. So after you have until this date, I think that's where the problem is that they're making this requirement to existing customers. New customers, actually fine. But when you're in a situation like this is something you grandfather in. New games moving forward, sure. But you got this thing riding hot, and this is like a gem you found, and you don't want to fuck that up. So in a situation like this, if I'm Sony, Arrowhead, whatever, it's like, all right, new customers moving forward as of May 1st, so I can, satisfy PlayStation's numbers and whatnot. We will require the login. But everybody that bought the game prior to that, they grandfathered in. And the fact they're not backing off this, like, they don't care about no damn reviews, refunds. They're not backing off this. Those logins mean more to them than anything else right now. And I don't know why, but.
Yeah, I agree, Stu. That's crazy. Even crazier, they just banned 90% of countries across the world from playing the game is even more wild.
This is 100% on PlayStation, Sony PlayStation. I agree with everything Smooth and Bond said. It was just bad surely they had to have known all these countries do not, even somewhere like China, they should have known China don't allow PSN, right? So even though I can't put all the blame on Sony, because when you buy this game, clear as day, it says PS Plus is a requirement to play this game, having an account. So like BG said earlier, is a nuanced discussion. I think, me personally, and I don't know if this is an easy fix or not, but it seemed like it would be. I think it's possible to do this, and they should do this. They should just waive that requirement in countries that do not allow PSN. That's it. In certain countries, and I also found out certain countries that do allow PSN, but the only way you can have PSN is if you own a PS5 or a PS4. So that's counterproductive too for them, right? So Sony planned this horribly. Again, what's new, right? So this bodes horribly for two things they're trying to implement right now. They're trying to do the PlayStation overlay, which is essentially signing the PSN through Steam or wherever you're playing these games at. Mm-hmm. People clearly don't fucking want that. Even when I mentioned it on Twitter, it was people that was responded that don't follow me. They're not in the community. They were like, nobody on PC fucking trophy. So clearly they don't even really want the shit according to them. And if they ever wanted to make a PlayStation launcher on PC, it's gonna fail miserably, right? Because they're gonna try to do that and take the games off Steam. And you know how PC gamers act when you don't have Steam in the equation. So I think they should try to find their best to waive this requirement in places that is not around. The only thing that bothered me about this whole situation, as far as people complaining, I'm never gonna side with the corporations with shit like this, but this is my thing with a lot of PC niggas, bro. Y'all don't give a fuck for real, especially if you in America. You don't give a fuck for real, because y'all are using this as a excuse to complain about this shit. You know what I mean? Because
hold on, Jack. I disagree. Initially, I would have agreed with you, but when they're banning 90% of countries from playing the game, that can hurt the overall player base and people trying to play the game.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Bob. In your experience, everybody you play with, are they in America?
No, but I'm saying
I understand what you're saying.
multiplayer games need player counts to survive.
I
We make fun
understand.
of Halo. We make fun of plenty of games for not having high player counts, for diminishing, for lack of players.
Absolutely,
You're banning
absolutely.
90% of countries from playing your
Absolutely.
game. That could be that might not be a problem today, but that could be a long-term problem in the future.
Absolutely, but there not to do the straw man argument. There are tons of games that require online additional login steps in America that people do with no little to no complaining, and it's probably those are also banned in other regions, and nobody gives a fuck. Matter of fact, Sumo posted one earlier. GTA. In certain countries, you have to have GTA Social Club to use that, and it's not in other countries, and nobody's complaining about the shit. I mean, so
again, this is the new hotness, though. Those are older games.
That's true too. That's true.
This is happening here right now, and then it also came back that they knew about this 6 months ago, and that they didn't come out and they weren't transparent about it. It's to the point where Steam is offering refunds.
No. And that's true too. It should have never been, if they knew this was going to be an issue going forward, it should have never been able to be purchased in those regions. So that is very dishonest. And they shouldn't have, even if it got the disclaimer, people don't read fucking disclaimers, man. Like, so I'm never going to blame the users at the end of the day. I just feel like some of the niggas I'm seeing on time, it's a little dishonesty because they don't never give a fuck about nothing else until it's time to, raise the pitchforks. They ain't got the energy for shit else. But now that they see they can hop on the bandwagon with some anger shit, they all with it. But it's just a disaster.
I don't know why Valve makes it a requirement. Valve should allow it to be an option to sign into other required third-party, I don't know, software or user bases or online network stuff. But Valve should not make it to be a requirement. This is part of the reason why I don't ever play Ubisoft games on PC, or sometimes EA games, because every time I log in, log into your EA Play account, log into your Origin, I'm like, I don't want to do that. Just let me play a damn game.
It was definitely a lack of research and knowledge going on. They had to have known, like, okay, you can't even use PSN over here, bro. Like, how the fuck are you gonna make this mandatory? Yep. Like, come on.
So they essentially knew that they were going to screw over 90% of countries within 6 months.
You know what they called it, BG?
Honey dicking.
Oh, yeah, they got honey dick.
They got honey dick.
They got honey dick.